I had a couple women reach out to me after I uploaded that video talking about ADHD, and that was really great. Um, so I thought I'd just make another video and just keep sharing different stories of my journeys with my mental health. Yeah, just to spread awareness, and I know so many other people relate to stories like this, and I just want to help people not feel so alone. So I thought today I would talk about a little bit about my journey with anxiety and how that started while I'm painting a cute little snail and sipping on some iced coffee in my super cool cup. I did that. I just dripped iced coffee on my canvas. Darn it. Just a second. That's such an Alicia thing to do. Anyway, so I was clinically diagnosed with anxiety when I was 9 years old. My mom took me to see the child psychologist in Fort St. John. I remember being there. Like, I have a memory of being there. I just don't remember like all what they did and what happened. I just remember being there, and then it being confirmed that I had anxiety. So what that looked like for me as a kid, I had lots of like obsessive thoughts. Like I just replay things over and over and over and over in my head. And another thing, and I don't want this to be offensive at all because I was a child and this was just what triggered my mind. So when I was little and I'd go shopping with my mom or dad or whoever, if I would see somebody that was like physically disfigured, it would look like it scared me, but what it really was is I felt like such a deep, deep empathy for them that they had to live like looking like that, and knowing knowing even from a young age, knowing the judgment they would get from other people. So it was like just like a deep empathy that I had. But I guess also too, it would be a little bit frightening, I guess, because it wasn't something I was used to seeing. So it would cause me a lot of anxiety to go out in public, to see in case I saw something like that. So what would happen is I would like internally panic and I'd start shaking, and then I'd hold on to my mom, and I'd cry and sometimes throw up because my thoughts would be racing so bad. And yeah. And also, like, a part of my childhood anxiety, one thing I dealt with too is like extreme guilt from nothing. I would, like, say my mom went shopping and got me something that I wasn't supposed to see, like it was a gift or something, and if I accidentally saw it, I would feel this immense amount of guilt, like I had done something terrible. You'd think I like hurt somebody or something. Like I just felt so bad. So yeah, that's kind of how it looked when I was like a child, just like obsessive thoughts. Yeah, and then as I got older, started to become a teenager, I also was diagnosed with clinical depression at 14. But anyways, my anxiety, how my anxiety started to look when I got a little older, um, was more along the, like, still the obsessive thoughts and everything, but more along the lines of too, like, added in there, it was like, I probably, like, if I'm doing the dishes, like, oh my gosh, what if I accidentally get something on the dishes that I'm washing and it makes one of my family members sick or kills them? Um, what if I've touched something and I like it transfers and somebody else touches it and I make them sick somehow, or it really affects them somehow, like, just like super super like irrational thinking. um and then, so yeah, I was prescribed sertraline, I want to say. I think that was the first, like, antidepressant, anti-anxiety that I went on. um and then also, like, when I got older, then Ativan, for when if I had a, like, complete panic attack. um then how it changed becoming an adult and having kids is, then it became more of health anxiety. So if my son got sick or a fever or anything, like, just not even crazy things, just like a fever or something, my mind would just, like, go to the absolute worst place and, like, think, like, oh my gosh, what if it spikes and he has a seizure and then I have to rush him to the hospital, and then blah, 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 like, it's crazy. Even if he got, like, a rash, and I try to rationalize with myself, okay, it's just a rash, it's a diaper rash, it's, but then, like, I know that, I know, and I'll tell myself, I know it's just a rash, but my mind or anxiety will completely take over and tell me, oh, but what if it's not just a rash and it spreads all over, and um and then if you didn't take him to get checked out, then it's your fault if it's something real serious, and blah blah blah, like, on and on and on. And then, like, with myself too, like, as I got older, like, if I had, like, for example, if I had, like, I pick at my skin around my fingernails really really badly, most of the time, like, I just took my thumb band-aids off. You can see, look, oh, maybe not. I was gonna say, you can see, like, the discoloration from the band-aids. I won't show you the front because it's disgusting. um but I've picked at the skin around my fingernails for years, 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 and I I probably keep band-aids in sale. I keep the band-aid sales up there, man, because I have to buy band-aids all the time because I constantly just subconsciously or whatever, pick at them, and I'll look down and my fingers will just be bleeding and I won't even know until I'm like, whoa, holy crap. So, and it's terrible because now, like, when we're in the car and we stop, I always put the band-aids on before we go in anywhere because, like, ain't nobody need to see that. Or like, then I think about, like, things getting into my cuts, and it's, yeah, just anyways. So my now my son's always like, yeah, I know, you got to put your band-aids on before we go in. And it's just like, oh man, that's horrible. That's gonna be such a odd memory for them when they're older, because my daughter sees that too. But anyways, what I was getting with that is, like, um when I'm in an anxious state, that, and with having, like, the cuts in my fingers, then I'm just like, if I've gotten, like, acrylic paint near my cuts, then I'm just like, oh my gosh, what if it, like, seeps in through my cuts and just causes me, like, poisons me and blah blah blah, like, yeah. So that's how my thoughts would work. And then I had my daughter, and, like, same thing. like if she got a fever or, you know, a cough or anything, like any kind of sickness or anything, my mind would just like, just my thoughts would just go from 0 to 100 being like, okay, it's just a cold to it's pneumonia. It's a lung disease. She's going to be hospitalized. She could die. Like, just extreme. Just my thoughts take everything to the extreme. Like one time I had these little like dotted cuts down my leg and I was like, what the heck is that from? And then it was so weird because I saw that my son had the same dotted cuts on his leg and I was like, oh my gosh, are we like, are our beds contaminated with like bed bugs or something? Like, I just like, oh my gosh, I was Googling and that's the worst thing. Like my doctor even said, Alicia, do not Google because that's the worst thing you could do for your brain because Google always is going to tell you you're dying. So I'm supposed to steer clear from that. But every once in a while, I'm still like, what's going on? But it turned out that like, I don't know how I figured it out, but I figured it out that's how I figured it out. Duh. Cause I was shaving my legs and noticed, oh my gosh, it's a cut from it's like how I shaved up, like the razor cut my leg in like that dotted pattern. And I was like, oh my gosh, that little bugger was using my razor. And I didn't tell him that I knew what they were from. I just went and said, hey, did you use my razor? He's like, yeah, I was just trying it out, blah, 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 whatever. And I was just like, okay. And then I told him, I was like, okay, well, I pieced it together. We don't have freaking bed bugs. It's from the razor. So just a lot of weird things like that. I haven't, the good news is I haven't had an anxiety attack in, oh my gosh, like a year, I think. I think it's been over a year since I've had one. So it's been really great. I think I'm still on sertraline. I think that's like, I've been off and on meds my whole life, but I think sertraline is what I'm currently on for anxiety and depression. And it helps me a lot. It really, really does. Yeah. So, but like anxiety is super, super scary because when you're in it, like when you're having an anxiety attack, it feels like a torture chamber in your mind. Like, I don't know how else to describe it, but like a literal hell, like torture. Like, because you can't, like, it's hard, like you can't control it and you try to, I mean, there's strategies and stuff, but it's when you're in it, it's very, very difficult to apply those strategies, but you can learn how to, change the way your thought pattern works. I definitely recommend counseling and having someone to talk to about everything because it really helps to just empty out all those feelings and thoughts, and not bottle them up, because that's when you'll explode eventually. You'll just so yeah. Another thing that really, really, really helped me is writing down scriptures that had to do with anxiety and like, how God will be there with you through that. Because he didn't promise we wouldn't have hardships, but he will be with us to get through them. And I really believe that we go through hardships to make us stronger and make us wiser and, be an example for others. Yeah. I hope this helps somebody. But yeah, I really recommend counseling, medication, if that's what you decide. I can only speak for myself that it's really, really helped me. And yeah, just try to tell your, oh, that's a big thing too, is like the negative thoughts, constant negative thoughts, just like you're not, like, you're worthless, you're not good at anything, you're not talented, like you shouldn't even try, like all, like, you'd be better off dead, nobody loves you, nobody'd miss you, all those things. Like I've had all the bad thoughts, all of them, and it's, some days it is really, really difficult to push through those. But you can push through them and get through them. And I didn't do any painting while I was blabbing. But yeah, you can always reach out to me to talk about that too, because I've dealt with it my whole life. Well, I mean, since I was 9, but so for years, I've dealt with it for years, and it's something I completely relate with and can and understand. So if you need somebody to talk to about that, please reach out to me. My hair is not hairing today. I don't know what it's doing. It's got a mind of its own. Yeah, just reach out to me. And I will try to, like, help you the best I can, or give you resources. But yeah, it's not something anyone should go through alone, because anxiety is very, very, very scary. And for somebody that has never, like, for me, and it's so weird when I imagine when somebody tells me they've never, ever experienced anxiety before, I'm just like, I don't know what that's like to not ever experience that, but it's incredibly, it's like hell. I don't know if I probably already said this, but it's like hell in your mind. Like if you picture hell, that's what it is, like but in your mind. Because sometimes it gets so bad that you don't want to live. Like you're just like, if this continues going on inside of my brain, how can I live like this? I've been there. I've been that bad before. And it's very hard and very difficult, but you can get through it. If I can, you can. Yeah. Love you guys, and have the best day.